What's going on, guys? What we have here today is a little bit of Battleship gameplay. Have just a couple of clips here. There's going to be a little bit of New Mexico and a little bit of Congo. So both, one's a tier 6 for the United States Navy. The other, the Congo, is tier 5 for the IJN. Now, what's ended up happening with the most recent patch, what they've done is they've added some quick message hotkeys. So F3, F6, F7, F8, and F9, they do some different things as far as requesting help in a certain area or where your teammates need to direct some fire. And chat gets a little bit salty here to begin with because some genius decided to spam a bunch of these quick messages. So one of the guys was not too happy about that. I'm not too happy with spam either. I didn't really care for it, but I'm not the kind of person that's going to sit there and make chat salty about it. So it's kind of whatever. But talk a little bit about the New Mexico here. Is an upgrade to the New York, but barely. Your speed's really, really lacking in the ship, and also compared to your Japanese counterparts when it comes to their battleships, they outrange you drastically. I have a mostly upgraded New Mexico battleship here, and my top range is really about, I don't know, 16, 18 kilometers. I do have scout planes, so that'll get me up to, I think, right around 20 kilometers. But the Congo at tier 6 or tier 5 for the IJN, I can outrange a New Mexico tier 6. Guns are basically the same, so it really does turn into how good are you at range with your shots. So as you can see here, get a nice Citadel hit on that, I think it was a Congo, maybe it's a Fuso, I don't remember, I recorded this gameplay earlier, but excuse me. We just try to move into the cap here, try to cause a little damage. It really, in this gameplay, it's not very long. I don't know what happened to my team. We've already lost a cruiser, we've already lost a destroyer, and the south down towards A is really just staying stationary. So I don't really know what exactly was going on. We do decide to take a few pot shots at this Cleveland here. And it wasn't until recently that I kind of figured out how to aim my shots a little bit better. Doesn't help because there's always that RNGesus mix to it, but if you're having trouble, aiming your shots, especially in a battleship since the reload is so long, what you want to do is when you zoom in and you have the periscope up, you'll see some numbers in certain intervals. The big lines are basically 1 second, and when you hit Alt, it tells you the time to or the shell travel time to where your reticle is currently aiming. And what you'll do is, and also it takes into account the travel time it'll take to hit that for that what is in your aim to get where your reticle is aiming. So if it says that your target is 8 seconds out, what you'll want to do is move your reticle in such a way to where you'll line up the 8-second mark on the periscope with where you want to hit on the enemy ship. A great place to hit most battleships is in the bow section, right around the waterline. That's where the magazine is. It isn't. It's heavily armored, heavily protected, but your chances of getting a Citadel shot on that area tend to be a little bit greater for me, at least in my experience, than aiming for the middle of the ship. And also, it doesn't hurt to lead the target because worst case scenario, it might fall back behind and hit a little bit more midships than in the bow. So still a good hit's a good hit. Did manage one Citadel in this so far with 11,000 damage. So at this point, I look around at my mini map and it's basically me and a destroyer on my side of the map. And on the bottom side of the map, they just got rolled as well. So didn't have some great team play here. At this point, I realized, you know what? I have zero support, so I'm just going to try to prolong the game and maybe pull something out. Then I see these. And I notice that I have really no support anywhere near me. I do manage a nice little dodge, but there's really just not a lot of hope at this point. I'm taking damage from really every ship in this sector. I've got a destroyer shooting torpedoes at me. I have two battleships taking shots at me. I have a Cleveland taking shots at me. I don't care how great of a battleship captain you think you are, unless you get a cheeky Citadel shot, it's not gonna turn out good for you. So the end of that battle, we did lose. It was not close. It was 800 to basically 100, or ended up being 1,000 to 100. So it wasn't even really close. So moving on, decided to jump into a Congo match real quick. And I've really been focusing on battleships lately. They tend to fit my play style a little bit better. I for the real main reason is I tend to get tunnel vision real easy, and you have a little bit more leeway with the tunnel vision if you're in something that can take a little bit more of a hit. So on this match, it's again on the same map as previous, just flip sides, and I'm starting to see that a lot more. Not a lot of map variety. I'll play the same map in 4 different ships 4 times in a row, and it's really odd that World Warships does that. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my luck of the draw. But so here is some Tier 5 Congo gameplay. These ships are fast. That's their kind of counterpart to the more accurate guns of the United States Navy. These battleships can go 30 knots even at Tier 5, while your United States counterpart will need someone to get out and push to get you to 20 knots. So that's really one of the big differences. The guns on, at least at this tier that I've seen for the Japanese Navy, they're not as accurate. The spread is a little bit greater, and you can see that I'm trying to measure out where I think this Phoenix or Omaha is going to be. So I just fire out just a few, in staccato style to see if I can get maybe one cheeky Citadel and, well, that dispersion dough. So didn't get a chance to get a hit, but I do see that their fleet is moving. Let's see, on this it would be south towards the other cap points. But I decided to try to duke it out here with the Cleveland. Clevelands can ruin your day pretty quick just because of the fire rate that they have. They can put a lot of shells down range and set you on fire. And fire is getting out of hand. Let me tell you, for battleships as it is, I spent an entire match yesterday, and when I mean entire, as soon as enemy contact was made, I was on fire. And I don't put my fires out right away because all it does is waste a repair, and then you're back on fire again almost immediately. So I did manage to get some good shots in on that Cleveland, but when it comes to high explosives, I don't think there's a real fix because that's the only real counter for these ships with smaller guns to be able to do some damage to to a capital ship and kind of get out of the way. And also, it's really the only thing that's going to damage a destroyer in a consistent way. And again, tunnel vision, not paying attention to where I'm going, I hit the border. So I'm not going to border scrub here. I'm going to actually turn around and try to get off that border because it annoys me when other people just sit here and ride the rail like this. This is not Tony Hawk Pro Skater or whatever. This is, World of Warships. So stop with the grind. Get off the border. But I decide to still put some shots into this enemy New Mexico. And I probably stay on this target a little bit longer than I should and don't pay attention to the minimap like I should. I didn't notice that most of the southern fleet is gone. They look like they only have a battleship, a destroyer, and an aircraft carrier. And in this map, aircraft carriers can really, really affect the outcome in a positive way if they're played correctly. And I'll be honest, I'm terrible at aircraft carriers. I'm not good at playing that class. And there are some guys out there that are just absolutely phenomenal. They're laying crisscross patterns with their torpedo planes to make it almost impossible to get out of the way. And that really is the telltale sign of a aircraft carrier captain knowing what he's doing when it comes to how he uses his planes. And I think we had two Bogues on our side, which they're not really good at offensive output. And their side, I know they had at least a Bogue, and they may have had the next class up. I don't remember what that is since I don't play aircraft carriers, so it doesn't matter. But their aircraft carriers went to work on the south side, and I mean, just destroyed our south fleet. So at this point, I look over and I notice that we're down substantially. And I mean, I only have 8 hits on target and 1 end cap, which was one of those Cleveland's main guns. So I decide to kind of swing around this little island and get over to the other side to see if I could help, because I have battleship help over here. He can pepper that New Mexico until he dies, and also have a cruiser over in support as well. So again, not getting a lot of luck against this New Mexico. He keeps his ship angled pretty well, so any hits that I'm getting are only doing 1600, 2000. I'm not getting those nice big, Citadel hits. So I'm going to switch targets, and what I'm doing when I'm switching targets, I'm looking for something that's showing me some semblance of a flat side that I can hit, and that Omaha or Phoenix turned off right at the last minute, so I don't really get anything on it. But while I'm heading over to the other caps, I'm going to try to still get some shots in on this New Mexico where I can, because any hit that takes off damage is a good hit, and he turned off at the last second there to avoid my shells. So again, on on this aiming reticule, all you have to do is hit Alt, and it'll show you the time for that target to reach where your reticle is, and it also that's where your shells. It'll take that long to get there as well. So if you're not good at I guess quote unquote guessing or figuring where it's going to be, I don't really recommend firing full broadsides unless you're within 7,000, 8,000 kilometers. And if you're in a battleship, you've already gotten way too close to your target. So I see this for Ataka here. It's like, I'm going to take a full shot at it, full broadside, because he's about to go forward, and ended up getting a Citadel and doing about 12,000 damage total with my shells. So I decided to move on up, and I know I'm about to head into a little bit of a shit storm over here, and I can already see that there's bombers, there's torpedo bombers, there's at least 3 destroyers just hanging out over there. But you know what? At this point, we really don't have a lot of hope of winning this battle. So, at least when it comes to sheer numbers and what's going on with the caps zones, and we have no destroyers left to counter what their destroyers are doing, and it's about to get a lot worse for our team as well. So see this for Ataka. He's showing me his flat side, so he's about to get a rough ride. So send a few shots downrange at him and just hoping I get some good shots on him. And boom, I do. Another Citadel. So using that aiming reticle and time, the shell time to impact, and figuring that out has really helped me. I looked at a few videos online. Chase does a real good Captain's Academy, and I'm not gonna do a series on how to do well in each of these ships because I still have a lot to learn. Maybe one day, but right now with my school schedule, that's taking up the majority of my time. And then with you know, in fact, I haven't put a video up in about a week and a half. So this is my first one about a week and a half, and I'll try to get a little bit better. But as it stands right now, I'm doing mostly World of Warships. I might throw one or two War Thunder in there with planes. It'll probably end up, if I do that, it'll be mostly arcade gameplay. Uh, just because I seem to enjoy that a little bit better. They're quicker games. You're not flying around for 45 minutes trying to find where the enemy team is. And right here, I managed to score my only kill and another Citadel. But I've done pretty much what I expected to do, which was run into a just hailstorm of torpedoes. Rudder shift on the Congo actually isn't bad, so I managed to squeeze by there and only take one torpedo. But and it didn't cause flooding. But yeah, I just took a full nasty hit there. So pop my cooldowns, and these guys aren't messing around. So what I end up doing is trying to get my guns around, but I get a little bit lucky that he's low health, and my secondaries take him off, but nothing I could do there. So that's it, guys. That's going to be it for this gameplay. So rate, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.